Somehow, XCOM returns in the form of Star Wars Zero Company. Well, kinda. It's a turn-based tactical combat game with small squad deployments, mission selection, and character progression, but that's largely where the similarities end. While Star Wars Zero Company might seem relatively standard at first glance, there are some really cool systems you should know about before jumping in. I've sunk over 30 hours into this release pre-launch. Don't worry, no spoilers, but here are 7 things I wish I'd known before starting Star Wars Zero Company. In this game, you play as Hawks, a former Republic officer leading a diverse ragtag gang of mercenaries, including Jedi, Mandalorians, droids, and criminals. Each character can focus on a specialization, and there are 12 in total, 4 of which are character locked. You can customize your team's performance with 4 weapon types, various utilities like grenades, and unique abilities. You can build your squad using pre-made story characters like Hawks, Telrea, Clyde Curvo, or you can create your own. And trust me, you're not going to get bored with this. There are so many different options for armors, species, skin tones. You could sit in there for hours. I wouldn't recommend it though. Your team can be changed up completely depending on what you feel like and the mission that you're on. Best of all, you can refund your talents for free in the focus tree, so you can play around with builds instead of having to get them just right from the start. You can also change up specializations and talents, so recruit whoever you like. So basically, what I'm trying to say is don't do what I did for the first couple of hours and save all of your focus points for one build. It's not a good idea. The full campaign length is confirmed at 40 to 50 hours, so make sure you keep swapping things up to form the party you need. Special specializations, like droids, are locked, but by and large, weapons aren't limited to a class like in XCOM. Usually, each soldier class, or specialization in the case of this game, is designed to use specific weapon types that match their unique playstyle and abilities. But the possibilities are pretty much endless here, which makes for some really unique and memorable characters. Here's some combos to get you started. There's a few off-meta picks that I've had a lot of fun with in my playthrough. The first is a scoundrel with a sniper, which gives you the chance to get lots of assists using Easy Mark. If that's not for you, this is a fun one. Pair a heavy with a pistol. The heavy's unique passive, Intimidating Posture, taunts every enemy hit by their primary weapon, so use the pistol to fire at 3 enemies in one turn and draw fire away from your weaker units. Or what about a soldier with a pistol? This class is best up close with its melee skills, and coincidentally, that's also where the pistol is strongest. Pistols are normally pretty weak, but the soldier's unique ability, Arms Master, boosts blaster damage by 2, which makes the pistol hit a little harder. In Star Wars Zero Company, each zone has 3 levels of influence. Once you gain influence in an area, you get a reward. You earn influence by completing operations, which are basically text-only events you interact with on the map screen and missions in zones. Make it a habit to check rewards to help you decide which zone to influence. Each one gives different perks, maybe gear, special weapon attachments, more resources, cool stuff like that. Think about what fits your playstyle or what your squad needs right now. Some zones are all about offense with weapon upgrades, while others give you big upgrades for the den, your home base. You only get so many operations per day, or as they're called in Zero Company, cycles. Cycles are split up by tactical missions, the proper squad management bit where you take on enemies in turn-based battles. XCOM's overworld-based sections happened in semi-real time, but in Star Wars Zero Company, a new day starts when you complete a mission. Sometimes that means operations or missions disappear if you don't complete them in time. You can see on the bottom left of the holotable screen how many cycles you have left to complete that task. The resource used to undergo operations is called Intel. Very quickly, more operations will pop up than you have Intel to complete. That means you'll have to pick and choose your operations and where you want to gain influence. Jae is an assault character who joins your squad shortly after the intro, and her final shot talent is really useful in the early game. She basically deletes enemies in her range when they're low on health. It works best if she's teaming up with someone, as it will even activate on Jae's own turn if she has someone assisting her. Jae can fire, her ally will assist, and if that assist shot takes the enemy low enough, Jae will just finish them off. I've lost count of how many times she's saved me by blasting someone from across the map, even when I thought she was out of range. Level up her talent, and her low HP threshold that activates this ability goes up, so final shot triggers even more. Set up some team attacks or assists and you'll see her passive go off all the time. Having at least one buddy who's good at weakening enemies really lets Jae shine. Between missions, you can build relationships with your crew in your base, called the Den. There's a full bond system in this game, which we knew about going in, but I didn't expect it would be so important. Every time you reach a new bond level, you can cross-train your units, which gives passive buffs. Things like increased crit chance, increased damage with blasters, loads of good stuff. To improve a friendship, the quickest way is by just performing actions together during missions and operations, and hanging out together in the Den. While on missions, reviving them or partnering for paired attacks are effective ways to quickly boost friendship. This makes permadeath brutal, since it causes you to form quick attachments to the characters and makes actions feel like they have consequences. I've seen squad mates die and have had to hold back against the urge to save scum.
Goodbye, you rusty little bucket of bolts.
I think it's going to be even more difficult in this game, given that it has more backstory and a greater connection to the characters. But of course, you can turn this feature off if you don't like the idea of permadeath. Unlike traditional XCOM, enemies aren't hidden behind a fog of war mechanic in missions. This means you can see enemy placements from the start of each mission, which completely changes your tactical approach.
Lock in, folks.
In classic XCOM, you'd move cautiously and inch forward, afraid of triggering new enemy pods. Here, since all enemies are visible, you can confidently plan out your initial moves and set up aggressive flanking attacks or coordinated squad abilities right from the jump. It definitely lends itself to a more aggressive playstyle than what you might expect from this genre. Although keep in mind that most missions will see enemies calling for reinforcements if you don't prioritize the objective. Make sure you scan the map at mission start and identify priority targets, potential crossfire zones, and cover positions before you make your first move. Permadeath still means that every action counts, but you can use the extra information to get ahead of threats, or even bait enemies into ambushes. Don't be afraid to move quickly or split your squad if a bold play will take out a dangerous enemy early. Advantage is a resource shared between the entire party that you can spend during battles to perform powerful abilities. You can earn advantage by dealing out damage. Since advantage is a separate resource from action points, you can even perform these powerful abilities when the rest of your turn has been spent. Some abilities will also use all the advantage you have to increase their effectiveness. In these cases, make sure you spend all of your AP first to gain as much advantage as possible and get the most out of it. In other words, don't leave advantage sitting unused. And those are the 7 things you should know to give you the high ground when you first start playing Star Wars Zero Company. For everything else Star Wars, keep it right here on IGN.